Hey, what's up, YouTube? So finally, we're a month away from the start of the 2018 NFL season. I am so excited that we're back to football mode here. It's an exciting time as an NFL football fan. And what I'm going to be doing for these videos starting here is I'm going to be going over each single team and predicting their wins and loss record for the upcoming season, starting today with the New York Football Giants. Now, 2017, to say that it was a bit of a struggle for the Giants, that would be an understatement. This team really did not have a good year last season, and they're looking to rebound behind a new coaching staff and overhaul the roster to a degree. You get guys like Odell Beckham Jr. back healthy. You're bringing in an absolute young stud in Saquon Barkley. The hope is that this team, on paper, can compete for a championship, compete for a playoff spot behind an old veteran Eli Manning, and really give them one or two more runs at a playoff spot and a Super Bowl contention. Now, whether that'll work out, we'll have to see, but starting with week one, the New York Giants are going to be facing off against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. And this will be a very interesting matchup, I think, because when you look at the Giants here, they have a lot of talented players on the offensive side of the ball. It really comes down to the fact that can they get running game going against this great Jacksonville Jaguars defense, and can they protect Eli Manning? And I honestly feel like the Jaguars defense will just be too much for the Giants here. Even though the Giants offensive line has made a lot of improvements, bringing in Nate Solder and Will Hernandez into the fold to help protect Eli Manning, I just don't think it's going to be enough. I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to shut down Saquon Barkley in the running game fairly early on, make this a one-dimensional matchup here, and that they're just going to tee off on Eli Manning, who really, if you think about it, he's not the most mobile guy in the world. He's getting up there in age anyway, and I feel like he's going to be a human punching bag, I think, for this Jaguars deep pass rush. They're just going to get after him all day. And when you combine that with the fact that Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boyd are on the outside, and they're capable of slowing down at least Odell Beckham and a very talented receiving core that the Giants have, I feel like this could be a recipe for disaster for the Giants here. They're going to lose in their week one matchup at home, starting off the year 0-1 start off the year. Moving on to week two, they're going to be going to Jerry World to face the Dallas Cowboys. And the Giants, for whatever reason, they've seemed to always play very well at Dallas since they've opened up the new stadium. Jerry World is what they call it. And for this game here, this will be a very interesting matchup for it because neither team really has a great defense necessarily. I mean, the Giants, I feel like their defense is top half of the league type of defense, but they're not really an elite unit, at least not as of yet. I need to see what how their new pieces are going to look overall. But there is some more talent on this Giants defense than the Cowboys defense, definitely. But I feel like this game is going to be a very high-scoring affair. When you look at the Dallas Cowboys, they're going to try and run it down the Giants' throats. And the New York Giants, they're just going to throw the ball all over the field with all their weapons on the offensive side of the ball. And ultimately, I feel like at Jerry World, it seems like the Giants just have the Cowboys' numbers there. They're going to have too many playmakers for the Cowboys to handle there. I think they're going to get their first win of the season at Jerry World, starting at the year 1-1 now. Really good way to start off the interdivision games for the New York Giants. In week three, they're going to be at Houston to play the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson coming back from that ACL injury. And again, the similar situation to the Jacksonville Jaguars here. I feel like the Giants, the Texans, their pass rush with J.J. Watt back healthy, Jadeveon Clowney, Whitney Merciless in the fold. I feel like that pass rush is just way too dangerous, I think, for Eli Manning and the Giants to deal with, even with the improved offensive line. I feel like Eli Manning's going to have a tough day getting hit quite a bit in this game. And I feel like this will be a little bit more of a low-scoring game because I feel like with the Texans' offensive line not being very strong, the Giants, they have a very aggressive defensive coordinator in James Bettcher. They're going to be able to get after Deshaun Watson in this game quite a bit. So I think this will be a little bit more of a low-scoring game. However, I feel like the Texans, they just have a little bit more talent on the defensive side of the ball. And Deshaun Watson, he's a little bit more special of a quarterback at this point in his career than Eli Manning. I feel like they're going to pull out the win here at home for them. So the Giants are going to be 1-2 going into week four, where they're going to be playing the New Orleans Saints at home. And just straight up here, I just feel like the Saints are just a better team overall. The combination of Drew Brees in the passing game and Alvin Kamara in the running game will keep the Giants' offense off the field. There are going to be a lot of meticulous drives, I think, for the New Orleans Saints. And Marshawn Lattimore as a shutdown corner, he's going to limit Odell's success and impact in this game quite a bit. I feel like advantage to the Saints, they're going to win this one going forward in this one. Going to week five, the Giants are going to be traveling to Carolina to face the Carolina Panthers. And I feel like in this one, even though they're going to be on the road, they're going to catch Cam Newton in a very bad week because Cam Newton, he's very shaky. He's always up and down, it seems like, throughout the season. And I feel like they're going to capture Cam Newton on a bad week. They're going to create a lot of turnovers in this game, I feel like. And I feel like with Odell Beckham here, the Carolina Panthers just don't have anybody that can really guard him in a one-on-one situation. I feel like he's going to have a very big game in this one. There's just no one on Carolina that can cover him. So a win for the Giants is going to be 2-3. Heading into Week 6, they're going to be back at home to face the Philadelphia Eagles in one of the best rivalries in this entire sport. And it just seems like every single year there's just one of these weird games between these two teams where you just don't know what's going to happen between these two teams. No matter how good or bad either team is, just some wacky stuff just happens in these games. I think it's going to be a very competitive game overall, even though I feel like the Eagles are leaps and bounds better than the Giants in terms of overall talent. But I feel like at home, the Giants will be able to grind out a win with a lot of playmakers on the outside. I feel like the offense will come up big with a lot of big plays in this game. It might be a very exciting shootout between Carson Wentz, the quarterback of the Eagles, and Eli Manning, who, even though that pass rush will get to him a little bit in this game, I feel like the Giants are going to find a way to squeak out a win here in a very entertaining game. Moving on to Week 7, the Giants are going to be going to Atlanta to play the Falcons, and the Falcons – as opposed to many other teams on their schedule, the Falcons do have the offense to match the Giants point for point. I feel like this game will be a shootout once again, even though the Falcons have maybe a little bit better of a defense than the Giants. Their defense are pretty even. Overall, I feel like these teams are actually pretty even of a match. I'm going to go with the home team on this one, going with the Falcons. That's just the difference maker for me. So the Falcons are going to get this win here. The Giants are now 3-4, heading into Week 8, where they're going to be playing the Washington Redskins at home. And I feel like they're just a better team than the Redskins, even though it's a divisional game. You never know which way it's going to go. But at home, I think it's going to be exciting that we're going to get to see Odell Beckham Jr. against Josh Norman once again. That'll definitely be entertaining to watch. But I think that defense will limit Alex Smith just enough. The Giants will put up enough points to pull out a victory at home, entering the bye week at 4-4, which is a pretty solid start for this Giants team, as they would definitely be in the playoff picture at this point. So going to Week 10, because their bye week is in Week 9, they're going to be going to San Francisco to play the San Francisco 49ers. They're going to get a chance to finally play Jimmy Garoppolo with the advantage at home. And while I feel like the Giants are a better team on paper, I just feel like the 49ers are going to get some home cooking going in this game. They're going to pull out the win, dropping the Giants to 4-5 on the season going into Week 11, where the Giants will be traveling back home to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where Jason Pierre-Paul is going to have his return to New York after being traded to the Buccaneers in the offseason. So this would be a very interesting storyline to watch out for this game. Ultimately, I feel like the Giants offense could have a very big day against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense because their secondary just is not very impressive in my eyes. I feel like the playmakers like Odell Beckham Jr., Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, Saquon Barkley out of the backfield, I think they're going to have a field day against this defense. Eli Manning's going to have a pretty big day, I feel like. And Jameis Winston, again, I'm not really sold on him. I feel like the Giants can generate a lot of turnovers if they can get some pressure on him. I feel like the Giants are going to get some home cooking going for them to kind of start the second half of the season right. Get the win here, 5-5 on the season, going into Week 12, where they're going to be going to Philadelphia to play the Philadelphia Eagles. And this will be a revenge game for the Eagles as they would lose the earlier game of the season at New York. I feel like they're going to dominate in this one. They're going to have every incentive to go out there and just kick the Giants' butt in this game. Eli Manning can have a very bad game because of the pass rush that the Eagles will present. They can just go at them in waves, I feel like. So I feel like the Eagles are going to win this one, dropping the Giants to 5-6 in the season, where they will then go home again to play the Chicago Bears, my Chicago Bears. And when I look at this game, both teams have very promising young offenses. When you look at the Giants, they have a little bit more playmakers on the outside, a little bit more talent there. We look at Odell Beckham, he's the best receiver in this matchup here. While the Bears, they have a more innovative coaching staff in my eyes with Matt Nagy running the offensive show there, as well as a younger quarterback who maybe has a little bit more upside at this point than Eli Manning at this stage in their careers. For me in this game, both teams – at this point in the season, late in the year, the Bears, I feel like they're going to be figuring out their offense now that they're kind of so far into the season. The difference will be on the defensive side of the ball. I just feel like the Bears have the better defense here, even though they're going to be on the road and Giants are going to be at home here. I just feel like the Bears are going to win this one here. Trying not to be too biased as a Bears fan, but the Giants, they're going to lose this one to the Chicago Bears because their defense just isn't quite as good as Chicago Bears here, dropping them to 5-7 on the season. Going into Week 14, then, the Giants would be going to Washington to play the Washington Redskins, and I feel like they will follow a similar blueprint to their home game against the Redskins. Early in the season, they'll get a much-needed road win here, going to 6-7 on the year, going into Week 15. They'll be back at home again to play the Tennessee Titans, where I feel like Damon Harrison, Snacks Harrison, he will need to have a big game in this one because the Titans, they're a run-first team. They're going to try to pound the rock. And I feel like this Giants defense, they're going to step up pretty big in this one. They're going to pressure Mariota. They're going to stop the running game, make it a very one-dimensional game for this Titans offense. And really, even though the Titans signed Malcolm Butler in the offseason, I just don't see the corners on the Titans being able to cover all the playmakers that the Giants possess. The Giants are going to get the win here, moving to 7-7, back to 500 on the season, going into Week 16 to play the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis, where you're playing an Indianapolis team where Andrew Luck is back healthy. When Andrew Luck is healthy, he's one of the top 10 to 5 quarterbacks in the NFL when he's completely right. And just assuming that he's going to be healthy for this game and playing some good football, Andrew Luck is by far the best quarterback in this game. I don't think there will be a lot of defense in this game in Indianapolis here. So I feel like the Colts kind of plays to their advantage just a little bit more. The Colts are going to come out there and win this one against the Giants. Unfortunately for the New York Football Giants here, this will probably drop them out of the playoff race overall, as they'll be 7-8 at this point, going to their Week 17 matchup against the Dallas Cowboys at home. And, they're going to be playing for pride at this point. I feel like maybe a fringe playoff spot, depending on how the rest of the NFC plays out. But against the Cowboys, it's a wacky NFC East always. I feel like the Giants have superior playmakers, which would be the difference at home, and I think they're going to pull this one out in the season finale, finishing the year 8-8. So just in general, the Giants, this will be a big step up or a step back year for them, getting an 8-8 record as opposed to the 3-13 that they were last season. The defense will be pretty good this season, I think, even though they made a lot of different changes there, going to a more of aggressive 3-4 scheme rather than the basic 4-2 that they've been running for such a long time there. They'll be pretty good, not great, not enough to really make a difference against the elite offenses, I feel like, in the NFL. And while their offensive line is a lot better, when we combine that with some of the weapons that they have, that can lead to a lot of big points in a lot of different games, I think, in the course of the schedule. However, the difference maker for me with the Giants here is this: I'm just not a big believer in Eli Manning at this point in his career. He's old. I think he's going to be very inconsistent depending on how much protection he can get, and that really limits the ceiling of this Giants team. So I think going a respectable 8-8. Pretty solid season overall, I think for the Giants, but maybe not quite what they were hoping for in trying to build this team to be a playoff contender. But what do you guys think? And let me know in the comment section below. How do you think the Giants will do next season? Do you think they'll do worse than my prediction? Maybe even better and be a playoff team in your prediction? Let me know in the comment section below. Please leave a like and subscribe for more videos such as this. Thanks, guys, for watching.